Hi, everyone. This is Wesley Cordova from Cordova. And if you were listening, you already know who I am. Um, this is the very first episode of my podcast series that I'll be doing. Hopefully, you all enjoy it. We're gonna talk about you know how I play. What did I think of the last album? These are just some questions that I've been asked. My influence, my background in music. And just various other things. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right. Um, let's talk about my musical influences and how I started playing music. Um, I started playing music around 14 or 15, I can't remember. But my stepdad had moved in when I was 13, and he always had a ton of instruments, guitars, piano, and he was always playing and you know listening to listening to music a lot. So, he would always come in and be like, "Hey, man, you want to play my guitar?" And I'd be like, "Nah, I'm okay." But eventually, he got me to play, and you know, I started borrowing his CDs and like listening to a ton of music. He was like an '80s guy, so there was a ton of hair metal, but he had one of the things I was influenced by was Jimi Hendrix and Black Sabbath originally, believe it or not. Um, you know, um, I listened to some Metallica, the Scorpions, Judas Priest. And that was like when I was like 14 or 15, before you get into high school and there's any other influence. You know, I came into high school with like, music that I liked. And, those bands I just named off weren't originally, those aren't like my main influences. That's just music that's like, you like and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool that somebody else shows you. But my main influences would have to be like The Cure is number one main influences, most definitely. um, Nine Inch Nails, that's another one that's just like those two albums, like they would bring me back to childhood. Fucking car alarm going off right now. Okay, it stopped, thank God. I was like, fucking A. But you know there's plenty others I could name off, but you get those bands that just bring you back to certain points in your life. And I started playing guitar with those influences from high school, but when I started playing music to like play music, my main influences come out, and I think I kind of forgot about that. Like when about 19 years old. I'm out of high school and I'm still trying to do the form a band and write music. But I was hanging out with dudes, and in high school you're like, oh man, this band because it's in, so definitely I was like into metalcore, and like you know uh junior and sophomore year and a little bit of freshman year, I was like an emo kid. And which all that music's okay. I don't really listen to the music I used to, like Hawthorne Heights or like Bless the Fall and like Escape the Fate and just stuff like that. you know um My Chemical Romance, I still like that band. I think everybody does. That's an amazing band. But you know um I formed a band, and it was mostly like just a stupid band, and we played decent music for what it was. But about my old band broke up, and during that whole phase, I had forgotten like what playing music that I like sounded like. And I think as a musician, you really need to step back and cut yourself away from friends just for a while, you know, just till you finally go, oh, wow, this is what I like to play, you know, and you can't have people, you know, telling you what's good or bad. And, you know, otherwise you're going to argue. And, like, that's why a lot of bands don't get along because they all have different styles and, you know, whatnot and whatnot. But, you know, you definitely need to sit back and figure out what it is you like, because in the end, that's all that matters is what you like. I mean, I know it's for the fans, but in the end, playing what you like is going to target people that also like what you like. So, you know, I forgot about that, and then when that band broke up, um, I started going solo to my guy Austin, and you know, it took off from there. I mean, the first album, half of the songs on that album, at least 5 songs, were done by me and Austin. And then when I signed to We Are Triumphant, um, I got more members, a couple guys from high school that I was in a band with, and then a couple of members from my older band. But you know, that's what made that album really great, is because we all got together and we weren't trying to be like, okay, let's just fucking rock this bitch. We were like, all right, let's just get together and, you know, smoke a little weed and fucking play some music. And it's just really hard to beat that. And I think with the second album too, it was like, how am I gonna beat that by myself? You know, you can't recreate like the magic that happens when you're in the moment with other people who are enjoying the music as well. So that was a lot of there was a lot of difficulty there for me in the second album, which is unfortunate. I mean, a couple members of the original lineup, Cordova, I mean all of them besides me basically, you know, 2 guys, they just had different goals. You know, it gets harder, and you got to put more effort, more money into it if you want to see anything. You know, that's just what it is, or just time. You know, and people get busy. One guy, he had a baby and was like, "Hey, man, you know, I gotta focus on that." You know, so no hard feelings. You know, things came up. You know, oh well. I carry on. All right, everyone, let's talk about how I play and how I wrote the album. I guess my style of playing would just be I mess around until I find something that I like. And that's basically how I go about it, because I don't know music theory. And when you don't know music theory, you just play what feels right. And I think that is the right way to play, because you get more of that self style, or, you know, well, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you understand. You get music that's coming from you, and not like, oh well, this is what should be right because music theory says so. I play tons of things that are, you know, I'll go into the studio and have something, and my buddy Austin will be like, what the fuck is that? That was totally weird, but it works. And, you know, he's the same way. You know, I go into the studio with an idea, or I'll have like a bare minimum crappy demo, you know, and you can hear them on SoundCloud. They're not crappy, they're kind of cool, but it's like, hey, this is the kind of vibe I'm going for. Let's enhance this song, and we'll just sit in the studio all day and write and rework parts. And I mean, he is a big time reason why the music sounds so good. His name's Austin Grothy. He needs to make some sort of music page or something so I can be like, hey, follow his ass at blah blah blah. But he doesn't. So I mean, I'm gonna get him on this podcast eventually. Probably next time I go in, we're gonna be doing a cool acoustic song, and we're gonna be making another song for this EP. Um, so yeah, you know, that's how I play, and that's basically the studio rundown. Um, with that being said, let's get into the self-titled, and let's talk about the songs, and why there were older songs on there, and just the whole process of that. Um, let's start off with, I guess, Summer. Okay, no. Let's go back to the first song that was written. Um, I believe that was Dark Souls. And I have a demo of it called Stone, and I'm going to upload it on SoundCloud, and you guys can compare, like, what we took away from my demo and then what we worked on. It's pretty cool. But Dark Souls, I guess the theme of that album, I don't know, because that album took 3 years to write, and I write mainly when I get a song and I'm like, this one's a keeper. It's like I'll write it on depending on my mood. Like, sometimes I'll get in a mood, and then like I'll be in that mood for like 3 months, and then I'm totally different, and just I'm changing as a person. I'm getting older. Like, I imagine I was like 22 when I was writing that album, so like a lot of the stuff on there is like depressing and like, oh, woe is me, and but that's just how most people are around that age. I'm 25 now, and I'm a lot happier, and that's I liked the album, but it was like, man, I'm done feeling that way. So it's almost like, the music that I'm coming up with now is like, I'm happier to play music. That last album was totally like, it was a burden, like I'm working all the time, and like, going into a studio for one guy is like, it's pretty rough. You can be like, okay, the song's gonna cost me this amount of money, and to one person you're like, damn, that's one person, man. But in a full band, every guy's like, oh, I can just throw this in, and then you read shit simply. It took me a long time, and it became a burden because like I have a normal life too. I got a family and whatnot. So, now I'm a happier person. You just get older, and you realize, hey, man. You can choose to be happy, and that's what I've done. Like, hey, man, guess what? I'm gonna work a normal job, and the only way this is gonna get any bigger is if I'm happy about it, and I put some more effort into it, and I don't look at it as a burden. So that's what happened. And this new album I'm working at, I'm putting like 100% effort into this one, because I kind of feel like I let you guys down with the last one. I'm getting a lot of good feedback, but I know I could do better, and putting like some of the older songs in there was kind of like, it's been 3 years, dude, you need to put an album out. um, and I had more songs that I was gonna throw on there, but I was like, oh man, I don't have the money to get in there and pump this out real quick. It's gonna take like 6 more months, man. So it's like, all right, just throw some old ones on and you're good to go. So, this next album is gonna be Uh, it's gonna be the best work I've ever done. I'm calling it now. Um, so you know that's a little bit of info about the Lost album. I mean, if you want some more info on like every song's meanings and whatnot, you can leave them in some comments, and I will get to you on that. I'm not gonna just give you a free pass and be like, I'm answering every question that I can think of, and then nobody has to talk to me. So I'm forcing you to talk to me. Um, Break time. All right, guys, we're back from the break. This next segment, I direct input into my mixer, and I play something I've been working on for about a minute just to give you guys a little taste of what I'm up to and what my music sounds like. So enjoy. Whoops.